Hey y'all, Christmas is a busy time of year, so I decided just to throw everything into one video. To kick off the Christmas season, I went to a cookie class and I learned how to make these cookies. The one on the left is supposed to be a string of Christmas lights. The one on the right is supposed to be like the plaid. And the one in the middle, I think you can actually tell what it is. It's the snowman. So obviously I did not walk out of that class as a master cookie decorator. So I decided for my Christmas treats I would go a lot simpler. So one of the first treats I made was Chex Mix. I used family-size boxes of corn Chex and rice Chex. I got me some peanuts and some pretzels. I made up the sauce that goes on there. I put 2 cups of butter and 2 cups of brown sugar and melted them together, laid everything out on a baking sheet, poured all of my sauce on top. It ended up being like 2 baking sheets really because it made a lot. But I poured all the sauce on there and then baked it at 150 degrees for 2 hours. Once I got my Chex Mix into the oven baking, I decided to make Ben and I lunch. So I made my jalapeno poppers 2.0, also called atomic buffalo turds. I started out by cutting my jalapenos in half and taking everything out of the inside. And then I made my cream cheese mixture, which is seasoning salt, garlic powder, and some shredded cheese. And then I spooned that into the jalapeno halves, topped it with 1 little smoky, and wrapped it in bacon. I put them on to the smoker, set at 250 degrees for about an hour and a half. And just towards the end, I occasionally basted it with the sauce that I made. I took some barbecue sauce and put it into a bowl, and then added just a little bit of cran apple juice to kind of change it up a bit. For dinner that night, I decided to make Mississippi chicken in the crock pot. I put my chicken breast in there and then added 1 package of au jus and 3 tablespoons of dry ranch dressing mix, my pepperoncini peppers, and 1 stick of butter. And I cooked mine on low for about 5 hours, but if you want to cook it on high, it only takes about 2 to 3 hours. Whew, that was all the cooking I did that day. And I was glad I used that crock pot liner because I wanted as little dishes as possible. That was a long day of cooking. Then it was on to potluck time. And I really had to think about what I wanted to make. I wanted to make something cute and festive, but not too hard. I decided I would do sort of like a veggie pizza, but put a Christmas spin on it and make it into a Christmas wreath. So I started out by cutting 2 packages of crescent rolls into 8 slices each. And then I used the container that I knew I wanted to store my wreath in as a little guide. I sprayed my pan with some cooking oil and then put the container down so I make a little circle. And so I formed my crescent cuts or whatever into the circle, and then I baked them according to package directions. I let it cool for a little bit when I pulled it out of the oven, and then I topped it with my toppings. I mixed half a cup of mayonnaise with 1 package of dry ranch mix and put that on top of the crescent rolls, and then I added my diced up red peppers, cucumbers, shredded carrots, and broccoli. This was the container that I stored it in. It had a lid and a handle, so it's just grab and go, and it was only like $2 at Walmart. That potluck signaled the last day of work for the year, and Miss Bailey's birthday came up that weekend, so we celebrated. I made her a egg and cheese biscuit with a slice of bacon and a little smoky candle. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bailey. Happy birthday to you. Okay, eat your breakfast.
Here you go.
Isn't she just so cute? But on to more human treats. I made snowman bark, or what I was trying to make was snowman bark. I kind of think they came looking out like ducks, but let's at least pretend that they actually came out looking like snowmen. To make this super sweet treat, I used 24 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, a bag of white candy melts, candy eyes, gummy sketty is what it was called, some M&Ms, some orange slices, some Rolos, and some sprinkles. I prepped everything ahead of time so that I could just throw it into the chocolate while it was hot. I left the candy melts whole and used that as a snowman head. And then I used the gummy sketty. I cut it up into little pieces that would fit around the head. And then the M&Ms were used as earmuffs attached to the end of the sketty pieces. I cut the orange slices into little triangles to be the nose. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, the candy eyes. I dipped them in a little bit of white chocolate and then helped them to stick onto the candy melts. And then the Rolos I used for hats on some, and then I just sprinkled them throughout. I forgot to mention that the sprinkles were the first thing that I put down. But once I got everything situated, I put it back into the refrigerator and let it set for about 30 minutes to an hour to let everything set up, and then I broke it into pieces. I took some to my parents, we kept some at home, and Ben took some to his work. And that ends the treat making for this year. Now it's time to move on to Christmas Eve and then Christmas Eve and see what we had for breakfast. For Christmas Eve breakfast, I made my everything bagels that I've shown here before on Instagram and on my blog, except this time I took a cookie cutter and cut the salami pieces into little Christmas trees. On Christmas Eve, I made portholes, and I used the cookie cutter to cut Christmas trees into the bread. Here it is after it's cooked. The part that the egg is in kind of looks like a ghost, but again, we'll pretend it looks like a Christmas tree. Christmas Eve is when Ben and I open our presents and everything, but I didn't take pictures of that. So here's some pictures of Bailey looking like a model, and Bailey shopping at Tractor Supply to buy the other dog some gifts. For our Christmas Eve dinner this year, I made my first ham ever. I just bought a spiral ham that was fully cooked and came with the, whatever you call it, the glaze package and everything. And then I also made us some green bean casserole and some scalloped potatoes and deviled eggs. And I made a pasta salad, which I really wish I would have taken pictures of, because it was a Christmas themed pasta that I found at TJ Maxx, and it was super cute, but didn't take a picture. On Christmas morning, there was all these cardinals in our backyard, and I thought they were pretty, and I got a picture of this one, and then we went over to my parents to celebrate with them. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and I wish everybody the best for this new year to come. Remember, you can always find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and at my blog at carlascountryliving.com.